Hey there, I'm Mike Skrypnek, CEO and founder of Grow Get Give Coaching, and I've started this video interview series to ask the simple question, how do you live your Grow Get Give life? In roughly 20 minutes or so, you're going to hear important secrets, tips, tricks shared by successful entrepreneur business owners, and now Grow Get Give Coaching book mastery program graduate authors. So today's guest is Blair Kaplan Venables. Thank you so much, Blair, for accepting this invitation to share your story with other entrepreneur owners.
Thanks for having me.
Glad to do it. Blair, I'm going to give you a little bio lead in so you don't have to tell everybody how great you are and I can share that. And then you're not tooting your horn, I'm tooting it for you. So Blair's an expert in social media marketing and president of Blair Kaplan Communications, a British Columbia-based PR agency. As a pioneer in the industry, she brings more than a decade of experience to her clients, which include global wellness, entertainment, and lifestyle brands. Blair has helped her customers grow their followers into tens of thousands in just a month, win integrative marketing awards, and so much more. She's spoken on national stages. Her expertise has been featured in media outlets from CBC Radio to CEOWORLD Magazine. She owns it and Thrive Global. Blair is also, drum roll, a #1 best-selling author of Pulsing Through My Veins, Raw and Real Stories from an Entrepreneur, which you can find on Amazon right now. And when she's not working on the board for a local chamber of commerce, you can find her growing her I Am Resilient project, which I know we're going to hear more later in this presentation or in this interview, and online community where users share their stories of overcoming life's most difficult moments. Blair, welcome, and thank you for being part of this.
Well, thanks for having me. It's great. Thanks for the intro.
Big mouthful, right? We're going to try to keep this going, and we're going to get some wisdom from you. So typically, and you know this, and most people who are watching this do understand that my life and business philosophy is outlined as well in my 3-volume book, Entrepreneur Secrets to a Grow, Get, Give Life. And that's where I share over 90 secrets for ensuring entrepreneurs find their success by teaching them better ways to grow their business, get more freedom, and give back. Blair, you're an impact-minded business owner, a leader, and leaders set the bar, and you're definitely one of them. So I'm hoping you can share some Grow, Get, Give secrets with other entrepreneurs as they seek their own impact. Maybe you can help by shedding any more light on a little bit about you that I haven't shared already, why you do what you do, and how you serve people.
Well, I can go in many directions with this one. So if you're watching and you're from the prairies in Canada, I'm from Winnipeg, Manitoba. I'm a prairie girl at heart, but the mountains were calling. Absolutely love traveling. I've lived in Greece. I've been to Israel. I've traveled around the world. I have a huge passion for travel and live concerts. Both of those things are not happening right now. So I've recently found joy or refound joy in things like arts and crafts, watercolor painting. I've been reading a lot more. I'm a super creative person. I try and spend as much time as I can outside. I work with people who have businesses and they want me to tell their story and bring their businesses to life. I'm a very creative person. I get up every morning and hike or work out, try and spend time in the juicy trails of British Columbia, soaking in the life and the breath from the trees. And I also really love cats.
I love cats.
I love cats. I have 2 here, Ash and Duffy, and then Xena the warrior pussy lives in Winnipeg.
You can say that again. So we have one who keeps bringing the outdoors in and leaves little pockets of carnage all over the place daily, but there's no mice now, or not many, in the neighborhood. So good for him. Blair, this is where the terrible background thing goes. You probably hold up your copy. You have a book called Pulsing Through My Veins, and I have a copy of it. You have a copy of it. Let me help you, give you the platform to share why you wrote this book. Why'd you decide to write a book?
So I've always loved writing. I've always wanted to be published. I'm lucky because in my family, I've had some people in the publishing world. Since I was a little girl, I've had articles and poems and stuff published in different magazines and newspapers. but I've always wanted to write a book. And that was, I guess, something that was in the back of my mind. Now, in 2018, I found out my dad was terminally ill. We've had a rocky relationship. He lives with addiction, and we reconciled in my 20s, and we began to build a beautiful relationship. So when I found out he was terminally ill, I felt very robbed of my father and my relationship. And I started telling my story to people, and it was helping me heal and process, but also helping other people heal relationships, navigate difficult relationships and challenging times. So I decided, you know what, I'm going to write a book. I'm going to compile stories of resilience from around the world and publish a book to help inspire others. I had no idea what I was doing. And so someone actually tagged me in Mike's workshop. What was the workshop called again?
A book is your best business card.
Yeah. So I was like, I'm going to go because I have no idea what I'm doing. And I went, and throughout the process of learning from Mike in that workshop, I learned that I didn't want that to be my first book because I wanted to learn some lessons on a different book to be my first book. And that because I am great, collecting stories from many people from around the world, that I'm not really so much in control of the timing. I do have goals, but if I were to write a book myself, I could control the process. So I decided, you know what, for my first book, I'll write a business book because I have a lot of ideas. My business just turned 12. It'd be a cool way to celebrate my biz mitzvah. And I have a lot of lessons in my head, and I wanted to share the lessons I learned the hard way so you don't have to.
When we met and you went through that, and then you said, okay, I'm going to do this. And we sat down and talked about your plans. It was like, whoa, wait a second. That's a big project. That's maybe not your first project. And you wanted to make sure that you got something going, and you had, a head of steam that you wanted to go with. And maybe by going through this process, you had an opportunity to get that first book out of you. And getting that first book out of you can be, a pleasure, or it can be pain. And whatever it is, it gets done. And then it really opens that avenue for more. And I keep hearing that from other authors, is every time they've got their first book done, they now think, oh, I'll do that next book. And you're compiling some really important information for your other project. And I'm going to give you a chance to talk about that in a little more detail even at the end of this. But, tell us a little bit about, what the book writing journey was like for you for this first book, Pulsing Through My Veins.
So I was super pumped. I love writing. I scheduled it into my day. I was getting up at 5 and putting in at least an hour of writing, or if I felt inspired, I would write. I would go to the gym and write while I was at the gym. And I had a lot of ambition, but in my personal life, a couple obstacles got in the way. I got a concussion. Really hard to write a book when you have a concussion. Really hard to do actually anything when you have a concussion. Yeah. My grandfather passed away, and that really was devastating for me. My husband, he's fine now, but my husband had a heart attack and quadruple bypass surgery, and a couple other obstacles got in the way. So I didn't get the book done in 6 months, but I got it done in under a year. And I really believe that everything happens the way it happens for a reason. And some of the challenges I went through made it actually into the book. So I made lemonade out of lemons. Is that the saying? I don't know.
Yeah. Well, your
so
journeys end up, go ahead.
Yeah, the process to me was great. Like everything from writing down my outline to, my chapters, writing, getting ideas out of me, like the actual writing process, I really enjoyed. The editing process. I mean, by the time I was ready to publish, I probably read my book from front to back about 10 times, and I was done reading it. To be honest, I haven't even read it since. I'm over it. I'm over reading my book, but I pick it up and pick up different chapters and reread them, but from front to back in order. I've done that enough. And, it's designed that you can do that.
Yeah. Interesting thing, you're always better at the end. And I keep always saying this, you're always better at the end of the book than you were at the beginning in terms of writing, but you're also more evolved in your journey, and your business takes shape in a different way, and your life inputs and outputs tend to come, those influences come in differently. And by the time you're done, it's somewhere between, your fans want to hear satisfaction 40 years after you've written the song and you're the Rolling Stones. And at the same time, you're like, I don't want to do that again. And,
Yeah.
you push away. But
Yeah.
everyone else who gets to, read it, gets to enjoy it, gets to take their thing from it, is seeing it for their first time. And so, we have a responsibility as authors to kind of just like allow people to indulge themselves in that. But at the same time, use that as our stepstone, the cathartic experience it is to move on. What would you say was some of the hardest parts of the writing journey for you?
I just didn't know if the information I was putting out there was valuable or crap. And I second guessed myself a lot because I don't know what other people don't know. So I didn't know if I was being repetitive or sharing monotonous information that everyone knew. And so I think my own self-confidence was something that made my writing a bit challenging because I didn't know if what I was saying was going to be impactful or educational or edutaining. However, since my book has come out, I've gotten a lot of positive reviews and feedback. So, phew.
Do you think? but I I hope, and one of the messages, or many of the messages I like to try to tell people is, first of all, size doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how big or small your book is. And really, we're not in the business. We're not trying to become the next J.K. Rowling or Hemingway. What we're trying to do is get our ideas out on paper, in print. And so maybe some people can share and enjoy them and take something away that is meaningful, but it allows us an opportunity in our own minds, in our own businesses, in our own lives, to kind of express ourselves. How do you think being an author has helped you out? Like, how has it helped you maybe in your personal or professional positioning, and maybe how it's going to help or is helping your business?
Yeah. So one of my goals for 2020 was to speak on more stages and to become an international speaker. And I did. I am on international screens. I started a podcast with a colleague in Australia. So we're global. But the book itself has really just helped increase my credibility. I mean, being in business as long as I have, I did have a decent amount of credibility, but being a published author and being a best-selling published author, it just makes people a little more impressed. And I've never, I never woke up one day and was like, today I'm going to be a best-selling author. Like that was never my goal of the book. The goal of my book was to learn to write a book and to get me on more stages. And so becoming a best-selling author was a goal I plugged into right before we launched. And that was super exciting. So the fact that I wrote a book and became a best-selling author, it's something that when I'm in meetings with clients, with, other people, they like to brag about it. I don't really, I'm not shouting it from the rooftops. And, to be honest, like I have so much going on in my life, my personal life with my dad being sick, that every so often I remember I wrote a book and I'm a best-selling author. I celebrated for a week and then I had to deal with some pretty heavy stuff. And so I try to really just, I try to be proud of myself. And when someone reminds me at the grocery store when I run into them or messages me because they saw my book, I really try and bask in that feeling. And it's actually just been really great for my business confidence.
Yeah, it's funny because the name of the workshop was Your Book is the Best Business Card. And we did that a year ago, roughly, just over. And, you managed to take control and get your book done and get it out there and get it published. And it really is. It's the thing that you use, or the thing that is there, that does the speaking for you, right? It does the talking for you. And immediately people recognize you as having at least something, worth saying, and they'll give you that moment. And having that platform allows us to grow and reach more people. Often when we're in, professional service industries, we just seek being able to impact others. So would you say that kind of gateway, that opening, has created more conversations and more opportunities?
Yeah, definitely. Since social media is my world, what I really love is when out of the blue, someone who bought my book will share a lesson they've learned from my book, or I'll get messages. And my goal of my book wasn't to position myself as a linguistical expert. It was to provide digestible and actionable information to inspire those who want to have their own business. And I did weave in some life tips. I mean, life and business to me is the same. And I've been getting a lot of feedback about things that have inspired and resonated with certain people. And I'm making a difference. I want to inspire others. That's why I'm put on this planet. I was given the gift of the gab. I came into the world blaring. And if I can help impact others, even the smallest little change in someone's life.
We took a little pause because we had an internet challenge, and you said you were going to help impact, someone's life. And that's a goal of yours,
Yeah. If I can change someone's life with my information or my experiences, or helped give them the aha moment, I know I'm doing what I meant to do. I came into this world blaring. I was given the gift of the gab. And maybe you heard this already in my first part of my answer. And if not, here it is again.
It's all good.
Yeah.
We're all dealing with this. First of all, 2020 is going to be the most memorable year in most of our lives for, decades and decades, if not a lifetime. Second of all, publishing your book, in that year, how big of a milestone is that? And lastly, we're all online. So, we're finding everybody's having some challenges and opportunities with technology. So everybody's comfortable these days dealing with it. It's funny you mentioned that one thing about having your book, and you kind of like, oh yeah, that's right, I am an author. I just met with somebody who hired me to help her write her book, right? She's from Calgary. And she actually she was reading my first book, my most recent book, and then phoned and reached out. But here she is. She also ordered my very first book online. And she didn't just order it from regular Amazon. It came off of like the used bookstore kind of marketplace. And she showed it to me the other day, and it actually had my inscription on it. So someone had read it and resold it. And it's just like, it was like whatever my inscription was. That's really weird. But I guess I wrote that. It feels like a decade ago. Anyways, I digress. So Blair, that, I have these 3 pillars. It's grow, get, give. Grow your business, get more freedom, give back. It's all about kind of a philosophy of life. And clearly you're mastered the grow part because you've written your book. And all I always suggest is that to build credibility, to position yourself predictably and attract clients and, be in the market you want to be, building your mountain of credibility is absolutely required. And putting it at the very top is your book. And so you get that, and you're here because of that, and you understood that early on in this journey. So maybe instead of just sharing your grow marketing ideas, you're going to share a get secret. So Blair, how did you learn through book writing or during the process or just in life? What would you share with other entrepreneurs about getting more freedom? You see, I have freedom rules that allow me to get more space, become more creative, get away from the work, the sense of chaos, and just be able to be more happy and live a fulfilling life. What rules what rule would you share that you use?
I think right now what's really resonating with me is knowing when you are your most productive. By knowing when you are your most productive and maximizing your hardest tasks during that time, you're not going to be banging your head against the wall and spending too much time on something if you're trying to pull it out of you on a time when you're not productive. So, for example, in the morning, I am the most productive. I also like to work out in the morning. So sometimes I get up at 5:30 so I can work out and then write and do other things that maybe need my full creative attention, or that are like my frog, swallow the frog, or is it eat the frog? Whatever. That's my my big thing for the day that I need to get done. And that has really helped give me more time. So when it's summer, or it's like end of summer now, and if I want to go outside because it's 30 degrees Celsius for you Americans out there, I can take 2 hours off and go play outside because I've allowed myself that freedom. I am also a remote business. Figure out how your business can be done fully online. Are you in Paris? Are you in Winnipeg? Are you in Mexico? Doesn't matter. You can go where you want to go. So to me, the freedom, the reason I built my business the way I built it was so I can do what I want when I want. Kind of how I live my life.
Time blocking, you block time and you block it around productivity, which is really a good message.
Yeah.
I always say that people if you think about it, or your business or your life like a performance-based, specialist, if you live for the performance, then you can build you can take time away to do nothing. Like the top celebrities, top performers, top musicians, when they're off, right? They're out running around doing whatever it is. They might sleep till noon, whatever it is, right? But when they're on, when they're rehearsing, they're developing, and when they're performing, that's when the money's made. So I think, understanding what you just said about having when your energy is the best and when your potential is as maximized, that's a great way to prioritize how to work your day or your week. So, okay. So you got some freedom rules. That's a great freedom rule. And it's different than the last few people that I've interviewed. So I love that everybody adds a little bit to this mosaic. Now, most importantly, people are attracted to working with me because of the concept of having an impact mindset. Entrepreneurs who just simply know that there's more to life than their own world, that they have a goal to impact the others or the world around them. So my last question to you would be, what would be your give back? What is your big impact goal? And, I used to think of it philanthropically only, and it's really come in from that broad universe, back to your community, back to your family, and back to you. So it could be one or all of those things, but what for you is your big impact goal in life? And I know we already touched on it.
So the I Am Resilient project is my big way I'm giving back. But ever since I was a tween, ever since I was probably 11 or 12, I've been volunteering. Time is one of the most precious things you're ever going to have, and you're never going to have more time. So I believe when you can give your time for good, like when I was younger, before my bat mitzvah, I used to volunteer with Alzheimer's patients who didn't have family. And that was something that was really fulfilling to be giving back. I volunteered for Ovarian Cancer Canada in the Vancouver office. I'm on the board of directors for the Pemberton Chamber of Commerce. That's volunteer. I was part of the Pemberton Refugee Resettlement Group. I helped bring a refugee family to Pemberton. When you give back, it fulfills you on a whole new level. And I also believe the universe pays attention to good people. And I'm a good person doing good, and that it comes back, it comes back in other ways. But the I Am Resilient project is how I'm giving back. I created a safe space for people to share their stories of resilience, their stories for overcoming challenges. The website is iamresilient.info. On there, anyone could submit a story. You can find the stories that have been submitted on there and on our social media, and we'll be collecting a certain amount of those to go in a published book. I believe every story deserves to be told. Everyone should be given that chance and that opportunity, and that is why we exist.
Yeah, I think curating that compilation, it's so open-ended. You were right earlier when you mentioned it. It's just such an open-ended project that it will end when it ends, or it will continue on, and you can, gather all of that in a meaningful way and maybe put it out there in a book at some point. But it's such a broad. It has its own life, and who knows what the lifespan is. Blair, I want to thank you, because that's an impact that you not only give in terms of what you're going to share with the world on that, but by giving that platform to allow people maybe the catharsis or the outlet to share their story in an open way, in a safe way, which you mentioned, is another thing you're giving people that maybe they never thought they could. It's that whole idea, like you talked about it. I don't know, I'm gonna write a book about entrepreneurism, like there's not 100 of them or thousands of them. What do people want to know about me? Well, you have something to give. And in the I Am Resilient project, maybe people have something to share that they never could before. Your book is pulsing through my veins. It's raw and real stories from an entrepreneur, and it's available on Amazon. It is a bestseller, but hey, it's not about supporting the bestseller. It's about getting information and learning more about Blair and how she sees the world and how she sees entrepreneurship and her great exploits and fun. Thank you, Blair, for sharing wisdom with me and our listeners today. If people want to find you, or viewers, I guess, if people want to find you, where are they going to find you? Like if they're looking for Blair Kaplan Venables, where are they getting information to connect with you?
Well, I can guarantee if you Google it, I'm the only one, but I have my website, blairkaplan.ca. I'm really into Instagram. I love photography and Instagram and being creative there. I'm Blair from Blairland. You can also find me on Twitter, Blair Kaplan PR. I'm on Facebook. You can find me, Blair Kaplan Communications, or just my name, Blair Kaplan Venables. And I'm on other places, but you know what? That's enough for now. But all my links are on my website.
I am Blair.
I am Blair. And what was I going to say? I'm also on TikTok. And I have not been brave enough to make a dance yet, but I make videos. And I'm
you know it's coming.
Yeah. Well, I got 2 left feet.
The right format and the right cajoling, the right tune, and you're probably in it. So again, thank you so much, Blair. Good luck with Pulsing Through My Veins, but even the broader project, the I Am Resilient project. Good luck with all of that. I'm Mike Skrypnek, CEO and founder of Grow Get Give Coaching. If you want more information about how our coaching family members are growing their business, giving back, getting more freedom, please reach out to me at info@mikeskrypnek.com. Find us and follow us on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram. Like you said, Blair, out there, my name has not got too many vowels in it. You'll find me as well, or find growgetgive.com for more. So thanks again, Blair. It was a pleasure having you.
Thanks for having me. This was awesome.
Yeah. Thank you. And everyone else, have an amazing day.